Yo guys, what is up? It's your boy TRUEDBZMaster back with another video, and today is going to be the final episode of my Krillin guide series. Now, since this is the finale, I'm going to be wrapping it up all in a nice neat little bow and talking about Krillin's assists, the roles that Krillin plays in the game, the best teams that you can put Krillin in, and then the overall strength of the character, where I believe he is in the tier list, or how comparable he is to the rest of the cast. So, without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into it when talking about his A assist. So, let's get right to it. Going to Krillin's A assist is his rock throw. So as you can see here, Krillin throws his rocks. So this one is specifically his EX version. As you can see, he throws two rocks. One goes near the player, and then one goes far full screen. So since this is the EX version, that means that, you know, he not only throws two rocks, but you also cannot super dash this as well, as you can see from this example. So as you can see from those examples, you cannot super dash rocks even as an assist. So that makes this really important when dealing with rocks in neutral, because super dash can't win against it. So you're basically just gonna have to move out of its direction. Now, for it being rocks, it is noticeably small. So it's not like you're dodging a huge beam or a C assist beam, you know, where the entire floor is covered. You know, the rocks generally, you know, they don't really move bigger than, you know, these angles. So if you're within like the middle region, like around here, you'll be fine because you'll be able to avoid them. But just keep it in mind, you know, some other characters can avoid that, and we'll talk about that when we go into team comp. But so yeah, just keep that in mind that this doesn't cover the entire screen. It only covers a small amount of it, but the amount that it does cover is really good. So talking about the numbers on this assist, so as you can see, it is 18 on startup and 17 block stun. Now the block stun can vary if you're spaced out a little bit. I believe the close rock is 16. So, you know, both of the rocks combined together makes 17, but I think one rock on its own is 16. Yeah, so it's not that big of a difference, but just keep that in mind. And since it is 18 frames, it is one of the fastest assists in the game. So, you know, if you're just jumping around and you call it, you know, something like that, and your opponent tries to 2H you, you know, it's very not likely that they'll be able to punish you, even if, you know, you do something, even if you do something like this, you know, you just go in, and then if they get hit, then you confirm. If they don't, you know, it's just free block stun at that point. So they're not going to be able to 2H you because, you know, this assist is coming out. So keep that in mind. This is one of the faster assists in the game. So if you're using it for a neutral, we'll talk about when it goes to team comp. But, you know, if you're using for, you know, neutral, just keep it in mind that it doesn't cover the entire screen, but it is really fast. So if you're doing something like this, you know, it's a really good option. As well as having a lot of hit stun. So I'm gonna see if I can actually pull this off. Yeah, I think that's the max you can do. Yeah, I was told it was 40, but it's actually 41. So it is 41 frames on hit. So that means it gives you plenty, and I mean plenty of time to actually convert off it. Now I don't know how. I know in some ways you can make both the hits rock, and then you get like 90 or something like that, like 90 frames of blocks or hit stun. But I don't think DBFZ is the right character for that. Yeah, I can only get the top rock. But as you can see, combo conversions is really easy with, you know, A assist. So, you know, characters like DBFZ doesn't really get anything from A assist. He really wants the B assist, which I'll talk about next. But like I said, this has really good hit stun. That being 40, so pretty much any character at anywhere on screen can confirm off of this. It is going to be difficult full screen because it depends on what your character's toolkit is, but 40 frames is 40 frames. Like that's near like Vegito level types of hit stun. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Alright, and the last thing I'm going to talk about A assist is that if you hold back, which is 4, Krillin will actually throw a Senzu bean. As you can see, Krillin throws a Senzu bean, and both me and the opponent can pick it up. So, you know, if I can direct Krillin over here, yep, see now he got the Senzu bean. So, if you're holding back, you'll get a Senzu bean. If you're holding any other button, you know, if you're holding down, if you're holding forward, well, forward you get quick tag. But, you know, if you're holding up, you know, up forward, you know, it has to be back. So this might be problematic for some players, because players like me, I always hold back as much as possible just to keep myself safe in a lot of scenarios. So if you're constantly holding back, you know, if you're like playing neutral and then you're holding back, you know, something like this to float back, you know, sometimes, you know, you'll get that when you really want, you know, rocks. So remember, if you're using rocks in neutral, the moment you press your assist button, you want to let go. And then, you know, if you're trying to block, you know, do something like that. Where, as you can see my inputs, I'm letting go of block as soon as I call the assist. Like right after, like right before. So if I'm doing something like this, you know, I'm still blocking, but, you know, I'm still getting, I'm not really good at it, but you guys get the idea. You wanna not hold back if you don't want Senzu. So it's really good. You know, most of the time you will want rock instead of Senzu bean, but it's a good option to have. So yeah, that is A assist. Honestly, I think this is probably Krillin's best assist. His B assist is really good just because it's Dragon Ball, and beams in this game are really good pretty much universally. I can't really think of a beam assist that isn't good in this game, but for all the unique stuff that rock and Senzu bean assist gives you, I think it's pretty safe to say it's his best one. Just know that his B assist does exist, and there are teams that want the B assist over the A assist, which we'll talk about in the team comp portion of this video. So that's A assist, probably his best assist, and it's really good. So if you can use it, I'd recommend doing so. Okay, going on to Krillin's B assist, which is his Kamehameha. So it is 36 on startup and then 31 on block. So the hit stun doesn't really matter because it's a beam. You can pretty much see the hit stun, you know, like hit stun really only matters when it's assist that you can combo from most of the time. And the only way you can really do it is in the corner with beam assist, which is why I'm not the biggest fan of them. The only reason why I don't run A assist on my main team is that Blue Vegeta wants to have block stun. But if I was running any other character, I would run A assist. But yeah, like hitting and confirming from this assist is relatively hard from full screen, so just keep that in mind. Beam assist is good for neutral though, so as you can see I'm playing as Blue Vegeta, so if I'm playing neutral I can do something like that, where I'll cover the air with my down key blast, and then I'll cover the ground with Krillin. So if they super dash at me, they'll get hit by Krillin, and then I just super dash confirm, or, you know, I'm doing something like this, and then see what they do, you know, something like this. You know, there's a lot of stuff you can do with a beam assist in neutral. You know, you can do stuff like this, get closer in, block stun. You can do the same thing with A assist as well, but it doesn't give you a lot of block stun, so you have to be really careful where you do it. But here you get 31 frames of block stun, so, you know, do that what you will. So overall, this is Krillin's second best assist. His C assist is his worst, but it's not, you know, terrible. But this assist is just your average beam, so go nuts with it. If you know how to use Super Saiyan Goku and Goku Black, then you know how to use Krillin. So beam assist. And Krillin's final assist is his C assist, which is his quarter circle back S or solar flare. As you can see, that is solar flare. So this assist has 28 on startup and 24 on block. It is a C assist, so on hit you will actually get an auto confirm. So as you can see from here, maybe it's better if I do this. I'm so sorry. I don't use C assist. So as you can see, you know, C assist gives you that really easy conversion. You know, there are some things you can do with it, you know. I'm trying to see if this will work. Yeah, so something like that, if you're doing something with Blue Vegeta, you know, get an easy confirm there. You can get mix off this with Blue Vegeta specifically, you know, since it is, you know, 24 frames on block, so you can mix with this. It's not the best block stun, but I mean it's not terrible. Since it is Solar Flare, I want to remind you this. It does have a giant hitbox, as you can see. If I can do it again. Let's see if I can do it again. Yeah, so like look how big that was. Like Krillin's Solar Flare is huge. So honestly, C assist is not terrible, but when you got A and B assist, why bother? But I'm saying, you know, it is a good assist, but it's a C assist, so you have to deal with the cooldown. And I don't really recommend C assist on middle and anchor characters, because you know you're going to be relying on that assist a lot more often than your point character. So since Krillin is mostly a mid and anchor character, I don't really recommend using his C assist, especially when his A assist and B assist exists. So it's good, but you know you can definitely do a lot better when in terms of making, you know, teams. So yep, those are all Krillin's assists. So all around, I think Krillin has a really good assist spread. I don't think any of his assists are bad. There aren't really any, you know, terrible things about them. You know, they are, you know, fair in a way. You know, even for people that says like A assist is like, you know, #1 in the game, which I don't think so. But if they want to say it, they can't deny that the block stun is really low. The angle at certain distances can mess you up, and the fact that if you hold back, you get Senzu beam instead of stone. Sorry. So there are some downsides to using A assist, especially if you're not used to, you know, using that type of an assist. So, you know, for all the people that says it's #1 in the game, you know, it's definitely a really high contender for it, but I just don't think it is. You know, there's a lot of things that are not wrong with it. It's just that it doesn't make it the best in the game, but it's still really good. His B assist is just your classic beam, so there's really nothing there. All beams in the game are strong. And then his C assist is pretty much in the upper tier of C assist. I want to say it's probably like top 10 C assists in the game, which, I mean, C assists aren't really that favorable, except for like probably like beam assists, like beam C assists, you know, like Gotenks or base Goku, but like those other characters have way better assists than those. It's kind of negligible. So, you know, his C assist is good, but like I said, why run that when you have A and B at your disposal? So overall, I think his assist spread is really good. A and B's are the start outs, and you know, C assist is just overall good. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about how to play Krillin in terms of what role does he want to play. So I'm going to be going point by point, and I'm going to explain why I think he should be placed wherever. So all in all, I think Krillin can be ran in any point of the team. So you can run him as your point character, your mid character, and your anchor, and be completely fine. But I do believe his best role is at a mid point. So let's just go through what makes him a good point character. So Krillin as a point character is really good as well. Is probably the weakest point, the weakest place you can put him, but he is really good there. He can build 2 bars per combo using his rejumps. He has really easy special attack combos with Kamehameha, Solar Flare, and his quarter circle forward heavy clone. So, you know, if you want to tag out a character, then you can use any of his special moves to get an easy conversion off of it. At the start of the battle, round starts are really important. So Krillin having okay round starts and being able to use Solar Flare plus assist for neutral, as well as Kamehameha, but he can also set up very unique Oki situations using Rock Throw, Solar Flare, and his clones. Also as well, Krillin does want assist for his safe mix-ups. You know, for example, the EX clone, you know, you want to use assist to cover you just in case your opponent is mashing, or if they try to DP you, and stuff like that. So you're gonna want assist to make it not only safe, but you know, make sure you're not overextending too much. as well as Solar Flare. It is -2 on block, but it doesn't make you plus. So once you end your block string with Solar Flare, it is basically the end of your turn. But if you use Assist with Solar Flare, you can pretty much easily go for a high-low and then continue your pressure from there. So overall, I think Krillin is a really strong point character, but there are better ways of using him. Alright, going on to Krillin as a mid character. So Krillin as a mid character is probably his best role and where you want to be placing him on a lot of teams. So with that being said, let's go into the pros and cons of it. So number one, Krillin can heal your partners. So if your point character ever gets damaged in battle, or if your anchor character gets Happy Birthday, then Krillin can actually be tagged in and use Senzu Beam to heal both of your assist characters. So that's a really important. As a point character, that doesn't really show up that often unless you get Happy Birthday a lot. But there are a lot of scenarios where your point character takes a lot of damage and you want to tag out your character, so you tag out Krillin and then you get all their blue life back whenever possible. Also, Krillin's level 1 and level 3 DHCs are really good, as I shown in my previous character guide. Characters like Gogeta, Blue, and Roshi give Krillin DRs after his level 1, and then characters like Android 18, Beerus, and Super Saiyan Vegeta can give him his unique level 3 situations, which gives him basically a 4-way mix-up, which makes him one of the strongest mix-up characters in the game at that point in time. So overall, his DHCs are really good, which makes him a really good middle as well, because if he's your point character, then there's a lot less of a chance of you getting those really good, unique DHC situations. As a middle character, he's a pretty good assist character. Like I said, he has a really good assist spread, so you can pretty much run him on any team and find an assist made for that team. If it's rocks, if you need the easy conversion, if it's beam, if you want the blocks done to neutral, and if you want, you can run C assist, but I wouldn't recommend it. Once again, as a middle character, Krillin wants assists for safe mix-ups, like I said, as a point character. As your mid character, he still has the anchors assist, so he still can be safe from his mix-ups, like with EX Clone, Solar Flare. You can do like his 2S with like Kid Buu, so it's, you're gonna need assists with Krillin, Krillin is not the strongest by himself. Also, as a mid character, he can also set up his level 3 with Solar Flare, so in most situations, you're not really gonna be able to get this, unless you specifically go for routes, specifically made for it. So, for example, if you go, re-jump and then Solar Flare as your point character, then you can get it. But in most cases, you're gonna be getting level 3s by tagging. But whenever Krillin comes in as your mid character, he's gonna have meter, which is another point. Krillin is very meter reliant when it comes to his very optimal stuff. Like I said, EX Clone is really important to his game plan. Solar Flare doesn't cost any meter, but the knockdown you get isn't the greatest, it's just your average knockdown. And then as well as Krillin's Rock, I'd only recommend using his light one for Oki, but if you want to use EX Rock for neutral and then call an assist, you can do that there. As well as Krillin having a level 5 of his own, which is really important as well to the team comp as well. So Krillin is very meter reliant. He's not terrible, like with characters like Gotenks or Zamasu that really need a lot of meter to get their game plan started. Krillin can do pretty well on his own without meter, but it's really important for all of his his easy mix-ups, I should say, because there are mix-ups that don't require meter. But if you want that easy setup with EX Clone and level 3, you're gonna need meter. So Krillin is pretty meter reliant, but it's not the worst in the game. And the last position I want to talk about is Anchor. So Krillin as an Anchor character has caused a lot of controversy, especially when Krillin first got the major buff to his normals and his rock. So it's you know, a lot of people were saying at the time that Krillin is one of the best anchor characters in the game. And back then I believed it as well, because at the time I was running 2 separate teams. I was running a Blue Vegeta center team, and then I was running a Krillin center team, because the 2 of the characters without the assist, like the multiple assist change, you know, Krillin only had a assist, which Vegeta didn't want, and Krillin didn't want Big Bang attack at the time because it wasn't that great. But now it's pretty good. You can run Big Bang assist with Krillin, but Vegeta doesn't want Krillin's A assist. That's not what he's looking for in an assist. So I really couldn't even use, you know, my 2 favorite characters on the same team. But now, since the assist changed and then Krillin got a lot stronger, I can. But going back to the whole anchor thing, so Krillin is a pretty good solid anchor, but he's definitely not like a top tier anchor. I think he's a really good one if you're just looking for a character just to slap on your team. So let's just go through the pros and cons. So number 1, he can end every combo in a sliding knockdown, which basically means, you know, using his clone technique. You know, use medium for full screen, use light for in the corner, and then use EX for anywhere on screen and for the faster startup. So Krillin can pretty much end every single combo with a sliding knockdown, which is really important in this game because you want to keep your opponent in a disadvantaged state. So having sliding knockdowns pretty much every combo is really, really good for an anchor character. Krillin also has solo Oki with his stone toss, so when you're in the corner and you end your combo with JH or EX clone, you can throw your rock and then chase up tech or down tech or do whatever. So Krillin can actually have some sense of a Oki presence when any sliding knockdown in the corner. As well as Krillin having double anti-reflex. So when you're on your last character, a lot of your mix-ups don't really matter anymore, and it mostly comes down to staggers and conditioning your opponent, which Krillin is really, really good at. Even though his jabs doesn't have the best range, his mediums and heavies have really good range, and you can pretty much always anti-reflect your opponent, meaning they'll be less likely to reflect you in the future, and then you can start doing, you know, EX clone, and start doing, you know, like 2S stuff, and then trying to beat them in neutral and stuff like that. So just because how big his 5M and 5H are, his anti-reflex are really good, and is really good for conditioning your opponent as well. Also, once again, I want to reiterate that Krillin is a good assist character. Like I said, you can run Krillin on any team and find an assist that's right for that team. A assist, B assist, and C assist. So Krillin being an assist character is really strong as an anchor character, because as an anchor, you're going to be relying on that assist specifically a lot more than the other point and middle characters. And once again, Krillin is meter reliant, so him being as an anchor, he's probably going to have the most meter in this case, but he doesn't have the safety of assist to keep him safe from, you know, mashing, DPs, and reflect. So keep that in mind. Krillin might have the most meter in this position, but he is also a lot more vulnerable as a character. So overall, with all these pros and cons, I think Krillin is the best at a middle position. And, you know, because Krillin has an assist to keep him safe, he gets meter from the point character, and then if the point character can do so, he can get his level 3 and level 1 special Okis. So him being a middle character is probably Krillin's best, so if you're planning on maining the character, I'd recommend putting him there. Okay, going on to the second to last part of this guide. So right now, we're going to be talking about Krillin's best team composition. So, like I said, Krillin wants to be a mid character, but you can also run him as a point and anchor character. So I'm going to be showing you potential teams that are really, really good, well, that are good and can actually influence more than just, you know, an average Dragon Ball team. These teams are going to be made specifically for using Krillin's strengths as much as possible, well as pushing the other characters as well beyond, you know, what they're averagely capable of. So, with that being said, let's get into the very first team. Alright, so right off the bat, we're starting off with a really, really strong team. Now, here's the thing. I wanna say this right before I get started with the other teams in this category. So I'm gonna be talking about Krillin as a point character for these first 3 teams. So as you guys may know, there are tiers in this game, and there are a lot of characters that are really good together, specifically the top tiers. So this team right here is definitely really strong, but I want to make preference. Just because my team isn't, you know, Krillin 21 Broly or Krillin Lab Coat Broly or Krillin Vegito Broly or, you know, something like that, you know, it doesn't mean that you can't run those characters together. These are just more suggestions and guide points for you to make your own unique Krillin teams as well. So all these teams are good in their own rights, but I'm not specifically going to be making them just for them to be the best team in the game, you know. So as you can see, Broly's here on the team, but not specifically because he's one of the best characters in the game, but specifically what he brings to the team and what Krillin offers as well. So let's just jump right into it. I just wanted to point that out before I start talking about the other characters and other teams in this category. So this team is really strong. So right off the bat, I'm just gonna say this right now. This is probably one of Krillin's strongest teams out there, specifically because of Jiren. Jiren gives him Krillin way better mix-ups than any other character in the game, probably besides Kid Buu. Because of his A assist is, I believe, 46 frames of block stun or something like that. It's really high. So it really gives Krillin the opportunity to use his 2S mix, which I talked about in a previous guide, and then as well using EX Clone and Solar Flare. So using all those tools together with Jiren's A assist gives you plenty of time to do a 4-way mix-up, especially with Krillin's 2S. Broly is here just for a stable character. Broly works well on his own, it doesn't really need assists to do what he wants to do, and his A assist gives both characters really easy conversions and gives both of them a lot of damage, which they already do. So this team is overall really strong. This is the assist comp I would go with. You can also do Krillin B assist as well, but I think Jiren A and Broly A are mandatory for this show. Jiren's B assist is good, but you don't get any mix, and then all of Broly's other assists don't really matter because his A assist is just so much better. Like, his B assist isn't that great. It's basically a worse version of Super Saiyan Vegeta's assist, and his C assist does have armor on it, but since he's your anchor character, you're going to be using that assist a lot more than a point character would. So I would just stick with A assist because it's just clearly his best one. But overall, I think this team is really strong, and you can pretty much put Krillin, you know, anywhere when it comes to his assists. You know, if you want to run A, B, or C, it doesn't really matter. But Jiren A and Broly A are mandatory for this team setup. So, yeah. Okay, the next team I'm going to be talking about is Krillin, Master Roshi, and Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. So this team is pretty self-explanatory. You know, if you guys watch the videos on my channel, you would know how well Krillin and Roshi work together. Krillin gets both a level 1 and level 3, you know, special team comp with Master Roshi. So with level 1s, you can actually get a DR from Roshi Super, and then with his level 3, he gives you basically a 4-way 21 mix with his level 2. So Roshi is really good when it comes to DHC synergy. And then with Roshi's B assist, that assist plus Solar Flare is really good in neutral, because for how long the opponent is in hit stun, and then for how big it is, because Roshi B assist is pretty big for, you know, a block stun, you know, style assist. So it's pretty big. So most often than not, your opponent will fall into Roshi B, and then you get an easy extension from that. Vegito is on this team mostly because of how strong he is as a character overall, but his A assist does give special properties to Krillin. For example, using Solar Flare in neutral, you can pretty much just do Solar Flare plus Vegito and you will always be able to combo off of it, as well as Roshi getting certain combo strings off of Vegito A, like for example doing a combo into Vegito A into the special electric shock surprise. So, you know, you can end that in a combo and then get Roshi or get Krillin's A assist into a DR and then you kill. So Vegito's A assist is really good for this team. So honestly, you can run any character for the anchor position as long as they're good as an anchor. You know, you can put 21 on this team, you can put Broly on this team, you can put probably UI Goku as well on this team, and it'll work out just fine. I think the synergy between Krillin and Roshi is pretty underrated when it comes to team comps, and so yeah, it's really strong. Alright, going on to the last team for a Point Krillin team, we have Kid Buu and UI Goku. So this shell is pretty notorious with the player Nitro, who actually won the last major tournament in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and this was one of his iconic shells, Kid Buu and UI Goku. So the reason I have Krillin here is because of how strong Kid Buu A is for Krillin, pretty much exactly serving the role of Jiren A assist, where he gives you so much block stun that Krillin can always mix from it. But as well as that, UI Goku gets a lot of mix from Kid Buu as well. So you have two characters that directly get influenced by Kid Buu's A assist, and if you block them, you have to guess and then you die. So this team is really strong when it comes to mix-up potential, but in neutral it's really not that bad either. You know, both Krillin and UI Goku have a Kamehameha assist, so having a beam assist is really good in neutral. Kid Buu has some of the best ki blasts in the game, so combined with beams, you're pretty much controlling the entire screen. Krillin as a point character using UI Goku's assist. Once again, you can use Solar Flare plus assist to get in easily, or you can use your ki blast plus assist to cover yourself and see if you get the hit or not. So this team is overall really strong, and I believe it's one of Krillin's strongest. Alright, going on to teams with Krillin as a middle character, which is his best position. Here I have Gotenks and Base Goku. So these two together are really strong as well. Gotenks giving Base Goku the ability to Spirit Bomb from DHCs, which Krillin is able to as well. If you go from Krillin, Gotenks into Goku, you still get it. I believe, actually I'm not 100% sure, I don't think Krillin gives Goku Spirit Bomb? No, he doesn't. But because of the special change, the special tag where you do like a special move and then you tag, you can pretty much call Gotenks in any of Krillin's combos and then end it with a sliding knockdown. Then you end it with Ghost and then Giant Spirit Bomb. So yeah, this team's overall good. The reason why I have Krillin here as a mid character is because Gotenks gives him the level 3 Oki we keep talking about. So if you do his aerial version of his Kurosoko back S, he gives you a volley style attack, and then if you do your level 3, you get the special level 3 mix. So Gotenks is really here for that, but Gotenks also builds meter himself, and as well he can also have his own solo Oki with Ghost Oki, so you don't have to tag in Krillin all the time. So Gotenks is really good as a point character as well. He is meter reliant, so maybe if you swapped Krillin and Gotenks, this team would be better, but I think having Gotenks as a point character and then having him for his C assist, which is a beam, which is probably the best type of C assist in the game, a full screen projectile that you can easily combo from, I'll take it. So with all that given Gotenks, he gives Krillin level 3, you get Spirit Bomb, you get a C assist, that's not terrible. Base Goku on his own doesn't really need assist as well. He has a good neutral, he has a good command grab, he does a lot of damage, and he probably has the best scaled super in the game. So, Base Goku overall is a really strong character, and I just think this team is pretty much has a good overall build. Okay, going on to the next team, we have 18 with Lab Coat 21. So of course one of these teams had to have the married couple together, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have 18 and Krillin on the same team at least once. But like I said before, 18 in my previous guide I mentioned that 18 gives him a Dragon Rush off level 1, and then she also sets up his level 3. So that's really important when it comes to middle Krillin, so 18 provides that as well. 18's Destructo Disc assist is really good for Krillin as well. It gives him really easy conversions from neutral, and then as well, the assist actually pierces. So, you know, if you call 18's assist in neutral and then your opponent calls their assist, you know, if the assist hits the opponent, it'll actually go straight through them and then hit their assist. So that's what makes 18's disc assist really good. Really good. And Lab Code is here just because she's a strong character, just like Vegeta and Broly. This character is still very new to the game, so I can't really go into detail what she specifically gives Krillin and vice versa because everyone is still experimenting. But just by her natural moveset, I believe she can really handle herself on her own and doesn't really need a lot of assist to do what she does best. So 21 is just here just because she's just good at what she does. And also her A assist is really good for Solar Flare mix-ups, and as well, I believe you can actually use it for a 4-way as well with his 2S, but don't quote me on that. Alright, I know this one is gonna draw some question marks, but I promise you I do have an explanation for this. So, Beerus and Yamcha. So I think Yamcha is a really good support character. Now him on his own might not be the best. Now here's the thing. I think Beerus and Krillin work well together, and then Krillin and Yamcha work together. And I think Yamcha does have the potential to push Beerus, but Yamcha on his own as a regular character himself just is so outdated. But I do think him as a support character is really good as well. So that's basically the whole thesis for this team. It is that everybody supports each other well. It's just the fact that it has a one very weak link, and that's being Yamcha himself. But Krillin and Beerus are really good on their own as well with Yamcha. So you're kind of, you know, running a point team. You know, Yamcha is not really an anchor character per se. You know, he can do stuff, but it's not. Like I said, it's very outdated. You know, if I wanted to call it anything. So, you know, if you're gonna run this team, just know that your anchor character isn't really the best, but what Beerus gives to Krillin, you know, his level 3 mix, he gives him a really good assist in B assist, easy conversions. You know, Beerus wants to have people not super dash at him because his orbs are actually super dashable. So, you know, having a character like Yamcha and Krillin who have really fast assists, so if they try to super dash Beerus, you just call, you know, Krillin or Yamcha on reaction, and it'll stop them from super dashing. So I think this team has potential. It's just that Yamcha just needs to get buffed as a character himself. But I do think this team is strong, so just keep that in mind. Alright, now we're going on to Anchor Krillin team. So this team right here is probably one of the most toxic teams in the game. And if you're looking at it, you pretty much know why. So, there was a player, I forgot what his name was, but he actually ran this team in, I believe, Dragon Ball, I think it was the Fighters World Championship, I believe. He actually ran this team, and I think it was when Gogeta first came out, so everybody was playing him. This team allows Gogeta to go fucking insane. Both 16 and Krillin gives Gogeta 2 level ups per combo, so pretty much by the time the last character on your opponent's team is out, he's already got that level 7 ready, which is probably one of the reasons why I recommend this team. You do not have to play 16, who isn't the best character in the game, but he does have some certain gimmicks, you know, him having a command grab, you know, his rocket punches is not the best, but it's still pretty good. And then as well as 16's DP style move. I don't know if you want to call it a DP, but basically he has a reversal that's also a low, so, and you can't hit him out of it. So it's, you know, 16 has some gimmicks, but you know, you're gonna have to get used to like his combo structure and stuff like that. But Krillin on this team doesn't really impact the team in terms of like his DCs or anything like that. But his assist, oh boy, his A assist makes both of these characters so much stronger. So I had to put this team on here just because how freaking nutty it is. Alright, so this team is pretty much probably the best, like the most straightforward team I could possibly make in this game when it comes to Krillin. This team is just strong. That's just it. You have Base Vegeta, who has strong neutral and mix-ups, Bardock, who has a godlike assist with good neutral, and then you got Krillin with, you know, big normals, a great assist, and, you know, just overall good synergy. Now the reason why I put this team on this list specifically is because of the lariat moves that both Vegeta and Bardock have. So like I said in my assist breakdown, Krillin's Senzu beam is actually 18 frames on startup, making it probably the fastest assist in the game, and it also is 41 on hit. So meaning if you do Bardock lariat full screen and you call Krillin and your opponent tries to 2H you or super dash at you, Krillin will protect you, and then Bardock with his auto combo gets probably one of the easiest conversions of the game. Now when it comes to neutral and mix, it's really not the best. The only character that's really doing mix-ups is Vegeta, because Bardock and Base Vegeta doesn't really give Krillin that special level 3 Oki, at least not to my knowledge. So, you know, when you're looking at opening your opponent up, you're really looking at Base Vegeta to do all the heavy work, because Bardock is kind of a shell of his former self when it comes to his mix, but he does have plus frames with his Tyrant Lancer, so you know you can push that a little bit. But like I said, in terms of mix, is not the strongest in the game. But in terms of neutral and just being very obnoxious, this team is pretty good at it. Alright, and the last team I'm going to talk about is Nappa and SSJ Vegeta. So these two characters aren't, well, I shouldn't say that. I should say Nappa is one of the strongest characters in the roster, and Vegeta ain't so much. The reason why I put this team here is kind of like the Gogeta team. This team is very front loaded. If Nappa gets going and, you know, he sets up his Cyberman and he's constantly resetting you, this team looks like one of the best teams in the game. Because SSJ, because of how long his assist is and for how fast it is, and you know, when implying like what it has, you know, it is a pretty fast assist. You know, giving Nappa plenty of time to plant Cyberman, and also Krillin's A assist, that being Stone Rock, giving him 40 frames on hit. Once again, you can set up Cyberman. So like I said, this team is very front loaded. If Nappa dies, this team is not that good. So I'd say I'd recommend this team if you're a Nappa main, but that's pretty much it. But the reason why I put this team on this list is just because how nutty it is when Nappa gets going. This team, when Nappa is going, it looks insane. Like, you can probably swap out Super Saiyan Vegeta with probably Blue Vegeta. You can probably switch him out with Bardock. You could probably switch him out with Vegito, and the team would be so much better. But I think Super Saiyan Vegeta's A assist gives Nappa a lot of good stuff because of the angle and how fast it comes out. And also, I don't want repeating characters on these lists. As you guys may have noticed, I don't think I repeated any character on any of these teams. So I kind of, you know, I don't want to make every team, oh yeah, this character plus Krillin plus Broly, you know. So I kind of want to, you know, use other characters in these things. So this team is very front loaded. If Nappa dies, this team isn't that great. But if Nappa gets going, it's pretty nutty. Alrighty guys, that's gonna be the end of my Krillin guide series. I really hope you guys enjoyed this series. I put a lot of work and effort into pushing this character and even discovering new stuff that I didn't even know about. I'm really glad I was able to share this knowledge with you, as Krillin is my favorite character in the game, and I really want more people to play him and push him even further than I have, and many other has before me. This character is just really fun to play. I love him. He's like my second favorite. He is my second favorite character in Dragon Ball. So, you know, given the opportunity to talk about him in these videos, and then seeing the positive feedback I've been getting, and you know, it being one of the more popular series I've done on the channel, it's just, it brightens my day up every day that I record these videos, because I love talking about Dragon Ball. So, you know, given the opportunity, I'm going to talk about it. So, you know, with that being said, guys, the final thing I want to talk about is Krillin's place in the game. So before I end the video, I think Krillin is a really strong character. If you guys have not seen my tier list video, then I highly recommend to check that out, and then, you know, see where I place him there. But I will also just put the tier list in the video as well as a visual. So I have Krillin as a S+ tier character. I think he's really strong. He provides a lot of characters, a lot of good synergy, and as well he gets a lot of synergy from other characters as well. So, you know, in terms of Krillin, you know, as a point and a support character, I think he's really good at both the roles. So that's why I put him as a S+ tier character. But guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Do you guys think I did a good job at explaining Krillin, his toolkit, what he's good at, what he's bad at, you know, and what can, you know, Krillin get or receive in the future that'll make him better? You know, did I, you know, do a good job, basically? Did I do well in explaining Krillin in this game? But also, if you guys just want to see more Dragon Ball stuff, let me know as well. I have a lot of Dragon Ball videos coming in the future, and hopefully, which is not going to be anytime soon, at least I don't think so, but I will be doing more character guides in the future. I do want to do a Blue Vegeta character guide, and then as well as a Roshi guide, because those are the three characters that I love the most in this game. So I really want to do character guides for them as well. But after I'm done with this series, I'm going to be taking a little break from, you know, recording these style of videos just for a little bit, and focus on my gameplay video. But, you know, with that being said, guys, that's not going to be the it for these character guides. So be sure to just keep in mind that, you know, they're coming in the future. I'm not forgetting about them. So that being said, guys, I really hope you guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out all the other parts in my Krillin guide in the description below, or in the title card at the end. So that being said, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Sayonara.